A while after the death of Moses, the children of Israel stand at the verge of destiny, ready to enter the promised land. Just moments ago, they crossed the Jordan River, where the Lord made the waters rise as a heap, standing still to allow his people to pass on dry ground. But ahead of them rises Jericho, a tall, bustling city, proud and unshakable. Its walls are fortified, its defenses strong, guarded at every corner, front and back. Jericho stands as the first challenge, the first land to be taken, a test not of might, but of obedience. For what lies ahead will not fall by sword or siege, but by the command of the Lord. So Joshua called the spies. "Go," he said, "spy out the land, see what lies ahead, bring back a report." So the spies departed. They journeyed toward Jericho. In Jericho there lived a harlot. Her name was Rahab. What would become of her in the coming days would be a marvel to generations. For the Lord weighs the intent of the heart and saves all who believe. Tired of her ways, she listened. She heard of the Lord's mighty works among the surrounding nations. She heard how the Lord was with Israel, and she made a resolve. She would place her faith in the God of Israel. The spies met Rahab, and she knew at once who they were. Men from Israel, strangers, yet marked by destiny. Without delay, she took them in, quietly, discreetly. But word reached the king of Jericho. Messengers were sent. Soldiers came to her door. They questioned her. "Where are the men?" And Rahab answered calmly, "They came to me, yes, but they have already gone. Pursue them quickly. You may yet overtake them." But it was not so, for she had hidden them on the roof, by the city wall, the last place anyone would expect. She covered them and kept them safe. When the soldiers left and the danger passed, Rahab knew this was her moment, her chance, and she spoke to the spies, not with fear, but with faith. She spoke of what she had heard, of the God of Israel. "I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the terror of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land have melted away before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. When we heard it, our hearts melted, and no courage remained in any man any longer because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. Now therefore, please swear to me by the Lord, since I have dealt kindly with you, that you also will deal kindly with my father's household, and give me a pledge of truth, and spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters with all who belong to them, and deliver our lives from death." Joshua 2:8-13. So Rahab, following the instructions of the spies, tied the scarlet cloth by her window. The spies returned. They came back to Joshua and told him all that had happened. Then Joshua assembled all Israel, and he gave them a charge. For 7 days they were to march around the walls of Jericho. They were to say nothing, not a word, until his command. Irrational, not logical, but a Spirit-inspired instruction. Strange as it may have sounded, they believed Joshua, for this was the same Joshua who had told them that the waters of the Jordan would stand as a heap when the priests stepped into the river. So they marched, one day, then another, 7 days in all. Not a single word spoken, even amid jeers, mockery, and laughter from the soldiers on Jericho's walls. On the seventh day, Joshua gave the command, and the people shouted with a great shout. Then the Lord did a wonder in their midst. The mighty walls of Jericho fell utterly to the ground. Only Rahab's house remained standing. For the power of God is precise in its work, knowing exactly what to do and where to act. For God is faithful, able to keep His word and to make good every promise He has spoken. So the people went up into the city, every man straight ahead. And they took the city. And in the heat of the battle, Joshua remembered the oath that had been sworn. He turned and commanded the 2 spies, "Bring Rahab out, and all who belong to her." After the battle, Rahab and her family were welcomed into the camp, and she dwelt continually with Israel. What does the story of Rahab teach us? We learn that God is not limited by a person's past, nor defined by a city's stronghold. Rahab was not counted among Israel, yet she discerned the hand of the Lord and was moved with faith when all others feared. She heard what God had done, how the waters parted, how kings fell, how His name moved ahead of His people. And while others hardened their hearts, she chose faith. She believed in the God of Israel. Her faith was not silent. It moved her to hide the spies, to trust God to save by binding a scarlet cord in hope. And when judgment came upon the city, God proved that His power is precise, able to save one household that believed in the midst of total destruction. The story of Rahab tells us this, that faith positions a person for mercy, that God honors those who trust Him, and that even the vilest of offenders are forgiven when they believe. Rahab is now part of God's heritage. This means faith, not lineage or ancestry, grants inclusion. And to the greatest amazement of all, the Messiah's bloodline already contained Gentile faith, for Rahab was part of Jesus' genealogy.